South Sudan suspended First Vice President Riek Machar appeared in court again today for day 10, and we have some massive updates. So the special court trying Machar and 7 co-accused has formally extended its own mandate beyond its original expiration date, rejecting defense claims that it has become, quote, jurisdictionally incompetent. The move comes amid a growing battle over evidence that is now defining the trial's direction. The 10th session of the court held today in Juba's Freedom Hall saw prosecutors present 16 exhibits, including Machar's laptop and mobile phones seized from all defendants. 13 of those exhibits were admitted into evidence, while one was set aside for further cross-examination. The defense, led by attorney Jerry Raimundo Legué, objected sharply, arguing the electronic devices were taken without warrants, violating both the Constitution and the 2008 Criminal Procedure Act. They argued such seizures undermine due process and show the trial is politically motivated. Prosecutors countered that the items were lawfully obtained and vital to linking the accused through their communications. Presiding Judge James Alala Deng sided with the prosecution on procedure, admitting most of the contested materials and warning that repeated objectives from the defense were, in his words, slowing the trial's progress. Among the admitted evidence are phones, laptops, and firearms, but the digital forensic report from South Africa remains in question. The court previously ruled that the report would only be considered and marked once the South African expert who authored it appears in person to authenticate it. We were expecting him to show up to testify on Monday, but he never came. So for now, the report remains pending verification. The court's extension of its own mandate follows weeks of uncertainty after defense lawyers argued the tribunal's authority had expired on October 8th, but the bench ruled that its jurisdiction continues under a renewal order from the Ministry of Justice, allowing hearings to proceed 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, until all evidence is heard. I'm sorry, I have never heard of like a court anywhere saying we're going to meet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays until all evidence is heard, because usually there's like a pre-trial where they go over this evidence and like admit it ahead of time, but I digress. The next hearing is set for Friday, October 17th, when judges are expected to continue reviewing contested exhibits and possibly hear the first witness. If that happens, it could mark the beginning of a new phase in the case, one driven less by procedural fights and more by what the evidence actually shows. So make sure that you are following along for when those videos drop.